Hi everyone, I'm Andrea and this is your Career Academy Tip of the Week. So this week we're going to talk about an interesting topic called ageism, which is something that is real that happens in selecting applicants. And so I'm going to give you an overview of what that looks like and some things that you can do to avoid it. So let's get started. All right, so ageism and age discrimination, which is what it is, involves treating an applicant or an employee less favorably because of his or her age. And so usually what we see in terms of selecting applicants is if they are of an older age, and usually upwards of 60 or older, maybe even down into the 50s, depending on what the job is looking for. So the Chronicle did a study back in 2017 where they focused on the academic sector. They sent about 13,000 resumes to 20,000 open jobs. And what they found was from the results was there seemed to be an increasing discrimination of age as it went up. So applicants were getting less selected as their age increased. They made sure to keep the high school graduation date on all of the resumes. So that's how people were able to identify what the person's age was. So they saw as people reached 50 and 60, they were selected a lot less. So ageism is real, and it's something that you want to be prepared for. And there are some tips and suggestions that I have for you regarding this. I do want to make a side note. There are times when your age will be in favor for you, and that is there are certain jobs, whether they're high-level positions or certain types of jobs that require a certain level of experience, certain level of skill, knowledge, and that only comes with age. So this isn't across the board, but this is something that I wanted to bring up as a topic of discussion. So first I want to go over some things that you can do on your resume to make sure that your age does not stand out. So the first one is make sure that your email address is either Gmail or iCloud, something very current, and not AOL or something that's a little bit considered old. So make sure that you have a very current email address. 2, make sure that your work history is focused on the last 10 years. Most of the real estate on your resume needs to be the jobs that you've held in the last 10 years. So if you do have a career history, or if you have jobs that were in the past that you want to make sure that the employer sees, we would suggest that you create a relevant work history section where you just list out the title, the company, and the location, and not the dates. You could put a little bit more information about what you did there, but for the most part, that's all you're listing is that you worked at these places. Again, you want to focus just on those past 10 years and not 20 years or 30 years. Number 3 is to look at your education dates. So if you received a degree in the past 5 years, it's okay to have that date there. It could be 5 to 10 years. Now, if it's past 10 years ago, I would take the dates of the degree off, no matter what level of degree it was. And one more note, if you have a degree that's higher than a high school diploma and you have it listed on your resume, then make sure you take the high school diploma off. You only need to show the higher degrees from that point on. And lastly, we want to focus on the content of your resume, because even the content can age you. So I know I've worked with a lot of people as we build their resumes that are really proud of the work that they did 20, 30 years ago, and they want to highlight that. But you have to put that aside and you have to focus on the last 10 years, because what happened 20, 30 years ago and you write about that type of work could age you, could alert the employer to how old you are. So if you're using a typewriter, if you're doing certain types of tasks that we just don't do anymore, writing those types of things out will age you. The words you use are also important. So make sure that you're reading current resumes and noticing what type of verbs are being used or what type of descriptors. So example, if you have 30 years of experience and in your summary statement you write seasoned, or decades of experience, right there we're going to know, or there's going to be an assumption made that you are upwards of 60 years old, 50 years old. So the Whether or not that's true, that's the assumption that's going to be made. So make sure you're not using seasoned, decades of experience. In your summary statement, if you have more than 15 years, you can put 15 plus, and that's what we would suggest. That's the stopping point. Now, again, one caveat, there are industries that require a certain level of experience and skills that need someone with 20, 30 years of experience. So again, this is talking for just a general type of job. And lastly, make sure to focus on achievement versus seniority. So identify the things that you did in your work that were achievement based. What were the things that you created or developed? Or increased or decreased? What were the things that you did that you want to highlight? Highlight those things and those accomplishments versus the decades of experience you had or the amount of time that you were there. So focus mainly on your achievements. And finally, I want to focus on what you can do outside of a resume to help you. Always make sure that your computer skills are up to date. So if you need help with Word or Excel or Outlook or any of those types of things, let us know. But make sure that you have the ability to use a computer, that you know the applications that most employers use, and then also how the internet works and how to upload files, how to move files, all of those types of things. I would encourage you to learn all of those so that when you go into a job interview, you can be confident about those skills. And then also just learning new skills. Identify online classes that you can take or community classes that you can take to increase your skills. And lastly, I just want to end on an encouraging note that no matter what age you are, you have something to bring to the table. And just know that you have skills and experiences that some employers need. So always go in with a hopeful attitude and encouraged attitude, even though this is a heavy topic. But if you ever need any help, please contact Yulia or I, and we'd be happy to help you. I hope that this was helpful. Again, if you need any assistance, please reach out to us, and I hope you have a good weekend.